So I know almost 500 other doctors signed your letter to Governor Brown. About 5,000 medical professionals have co-signed your letter to Vice President Mike Pence. What has prompted you to write these letters and push them out online?
I think the most important thing was just a lack of awareness of what was coming. We were seeing this across the state as we were preparing for the influx of infected patients. Our groups of physicians, especially in our Physician Women for Democratic Principles group, we do a lot of chatting online, and we saw just a lack of awareness of what was coming and how we needed to get prepared. And once it came, we weren't going to have time to do so.
Yeah, I know we've seen health professionals trying to navigate this, and in some cases expressing some frustration with some mixed messages that we've been getting from government officials. Has that been your experience here too?
Absolutely. I think we can all say that we've seen that from our federal government to their state to our local. I think part of it is just that it's hard to believe what's happening, and it takes a leap of faith to really react in the way that you need to at this point.
Yeah, so of course you drafted these letters, you put them out last week, really urging lawmakers to act. Were you surprised at the response that some of this has gotten online, just how many people have co-signed and shared your sentiment?
I wouldn't say surprised, I'm pleased, but the fact of the matter was that there were a lot of people who were concerned about the slow response. And so I knew that there was an anxiety as well as an urgency. And so I knew we would get some signatures, and we were hoping to get as many as we could so that people would hear us.
Yeah, so now I do want to mention you are running to try and replace retiring Representative Mitch Greenlick in the Oregon House of Representatives. How are you managing a campaign right now in the midst of also being a medical professional?
Yeah, as of 2 days ago, actually, I suspended all activity for my campaign. So my team is continuing, but I need to focus on being a physician and being president for my community right now.
Yeah, so as you turn your entire focus here to this coronavirus pandemic, you wrote in one of these letters that we are facing, quote, an unmitigated medical disaster. I think that was in your letter to Vice President Pence. And you worry that, doctors here and around the country could soon be in a position where they have to choose between who lives and who dies as we see an influx of patients. What do you want people to know about how serious this is? We've seen criticism of local leaders, criticism of the media as we've really tried to cover this coronavirus pandemic. What message do you really want to hit home here?
I think the very most important thing people need to understand is your actions have direct implications on our community. Staying home, staying really isolated. I know that it sounds really scary to not be able to see your family, extended family, or your friends, but every person that you come in contact with could potentially be someone that you're infecting or is going to infect you. And this is an exponential growth curve, which is really hard for people to conceptualize. But each person who's infected is going to infect on average 2.4 people more. And that really can't be contained unless we all isolate ourselves.
Yeah, this is an exercise in community health, the likes of which we have not seen. Dr. Dexter, thank you very much, and we appreciate your statement and your words helping to get that point across. You can read her letter to the Vice President now on KOIN.com. All right, it is 7:39 on this Wednesday morning. Coming up after the break, it is time for Wallet Wednesday. You might be working from home right this very moment. Well, coming up next, we are taking a look at how this pandemic may change the American workforce for good and how Portland is adjusting to its new normal.
And welcome back. It is 7:42 on this Wallet Wednesday. And as more and more people try to socially distance themselves, many employees are actually working from home.
And researchers are now looking into whether this will drastically change the workforce as we know it. Daniel Zhao is a senior economist with Glassdoor. He joins us live this morning looking at some of the company's latest research into current trends. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning.
So I know Glassdoor just looked at work from home kind of over the last decade here. What are some of the highlights your researchers found?
Well, I think the most interesting thing right off the bat is that access to work from home benefits has actually doubled over the last decade. Over half of American workers on Glassdoor today report being able to work from home.
Okay, and so you found that it also varied by city and state. So how do Portland and even Oregon stack up?
Portland and Oregon, as a state overall, actually are right on mark with the rest of the country. So a little bit over half of employees in Portland and Oregon report being able to work from home.
Wow, and so I know that does kind of put us up close to the top of the list. I think San Francisco was the most common work from home market there. 67% of the workforce has work from home capabilities is what you found?
Yeah, San Francisco is at the top. If anything, it's the outlier on the list because it has a high concentration of tech workers who tend to have more access to those kind of benefits. But Portland is doing pretty well. It's right in line with the national average, and it's been increasing over the last decade, just like the rest of the country.
Yeah, I know, as you mentioned, that IT and tech jobs, those are the ones that are kind of easiest to make that transition. It's interesting now that San Francisco's one of the cities having to kind of shelter in place, and they do have a lot of employees really taking advantage.
And that is a good thing, yeah. So I guess a lot of people are wondering if the current pandemic will have a lasting impact on which jobs stay at work from home, because this could just kind of change the whole way we operate. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, every company right now has to reevaluate their work from home policies, whether they had one to begin with or not. And so I think that this is really an inflection point, which is going to turbocharge the conversation around work from home policies. Now, whether it will last for the long run, who knows? But certainly this is going to be something that everybody is paying attention to.
So what's your advice for employees right now if they're thinking about approaching their current employer about those work from home policies, or if they're maybe going to Glassdoor for some of those online job postings to see what's available to work from home? What should they be looking for as they seek out some of these opportunities?
Well, I would say right now is a good time to have that conversation with your employer. Everybody is responding to this outbreak right now, and so it's people have an open mind, and I think that that means that now's the time to act. I will say that Glassdoor has a lot of resources available to job seekers and employees who are either responding to the outbreak or just want some tips on remote work. You can't really approach it just like any other job. You need to think very hard and be focused about how you're interacting with people who aren't in the same office as you. But the fact of the matter is that people have been thinking about this long before the current outbreak, and interest has been mounting. So there's a lot of resources available out there.
Yeah, and a good thing that we have the technology in this day and age, unlike, say, 100 years ago, where we can do these video conference calls with employers and employees and use technology.
Easier, that's for sure.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much. And of course, more career advice and job search help from Glassdoor. We will post that on coin.com.